Mayhem to Magic. Know this, not only a holiday thing, as I notice it can apply to other things, so that's why we're going to, in the background be talking to your subconscious, getting you ready for your New Year's revolution, not resolutions, your New Year's revolutions, is what we talk about here. It's really a lot of fun. So without any further intro, let's get the party started here. During our time together, have fun, be open. We're going to open mics several times because I want you guys to engage. I want you to listen to other people on the call, to kind of feel their hearts and minds, play with them, honor what they're saying, make the most of it. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to take a moment and think. How do you rate your normal holiday experiences? And number 2, do you find holidays more stressful or less stressful than your everyday life? Normally you're going to see 7 to 8 kind of average for a demographic like this. I have a great demo. I have people that work very hard on their lives. They tend to do greater than the average population. I would tell you my holidays are always, they didn't always used to be, but they are now, 10s. That doesn't mean that my spouse, my children, significant people in my life, my business partner, they all have to be wired at the same level. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a drag. And generally, again, we find that people experience a little bit more stress. So the first thing I want you to do, and so grab pen and paper. I will once again unmute a few mics. I want you to ponder all the relevant, important meanings and beliefs that you have about the holidays that are disempowering. What does that mean? For example, that they're too commercial might be one of yours. The fact that gift giving is, out of control. So I'm just putting a less than. Out of control, unappreciated, too expensive. It's just, it's again, it might even play into the too commercial, but that's more when I'm thinking about, we're already getting Christmas TV commercials, Christmas specials are coming out. Just the overselling of Christmas is amazing. So maybe a gift giving. So I want you to think a little bit about what you would consider to be a disempowering belief that you are currently living about the holidays. Too much busy, too many parties. Certainly, some of us run around attending parties that we may not even want to go to. Some people might say too many family, too much of them. Well, you got them quarantined during the year, but now you're back. If you talk about the old family of origin programming, you're back deep in it. They're talking about little Billy and old sibling rivalries kick up and blah, blah, blah. So there's a little bit of pain and agony going on about that. Some people might say the expectations are too high. We're supposed to have this perfect holiday, and it's kind of hard to pull off. You're going to want to write all of these down and ponder them, because you're going to see what we're going to do with these in a little bit. Now, on the positive side, it's always nice to know what's empowering to us. What feels great to us. Whether it's our kids' faces, or if you don't have children, your nieces and nephews, or even just kids in the mall, kids' faces, the utter joy that at least children get to experience. You might be in the part of the world where you have snow, and you have sledding, and you have fireplaces, and you have hot chocolate, and some fun things that you plan, and as we mentioned earlier, you have a little bit more time. These are beliefs that are empowering you. We have a 101.1, it's called Cozy, there's always the secret, when are they going to start their holiday, but they convert to complete holiday music at just around Thanksgiving time. It's quite a treat. Yeah, it seems to be getting earlier. Family time and celebrating. All right. Sisters, kids, they come over Christmas morning, opening presents. Awesome. So the same thing applies. You're going to want to finish this homework, whether it's this weekend. Really, really sit down, take the time to list all the things that you really, really enjoy, and empowers you for the holidays. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question, why are these beliefs still true? The empowering ones are easy to remember as true because you have joy at kids' faces or opening presents, but generally the disempowering ones, whether there's expectations, whether there's meanings, a lot of times you'll discover that they come from someplace else. Someone taught that to you. Maybe even it's your significant other is a bah humbug person, or you have a divorce 15 years ago in your holiday. Something has made that. And what's interesting, and this is true again, this is all adding into the neural programming work that we do. Some of the beliefs that we've been taught that we don't like, that are bad, they're not with us anymore. And others have completely died. Yet you have these that, still have the meaning. It lies in your software. If you know that this is a software exercise, you can design new, and you can take the negative ones, and we're going to turn them into positives, and you take the positive ones and turn them into even bigger, greater positive ones. Now, two specific tools that I want to refocus. For some of you, this will be a review. For some of you, this might be the first time you've seen it. We're going to work on association and disassociation. This has so many fundamental, foundational keys to a lot of the tools. Over and over again, I tell you, it's the emotions that wire the brain. The emotions wire the hard drive. So if you experience a lot of negative emotions, it's going to wire the brain that way. If you experience a lot of positive, it wires the brain that way. So the question becomes, can I do this at my will? And in a negative time, can I wire this to positive? And other negative times, can I just allow this to be, and not judge it, just experience it, knowing that any point in time that I want to turn it to positive, that I can. And then we're going to take positive, and we've got to make it even bigger. And then the quantum glass allows us to do that. So let's look at the exercise, and then we'll come back. Again, this follows the formula that's on your client video page. It's video 9. No. Why does it say video 9? That should say video 2. It's video 2. We'll have to get that fixed there, Master Brian, on your page. And what I want you to do, and we're not necessarily going to do the exercise now. I'm going to tell you about the exercise. But if you want to actually experience this, write us and tell us you want an audio track. We'll send you an audio track of me conducting this. But when you think about it, you can even look at these notes, take your notes, write notes, and have someone in your life do this, and then you can do it for them. It's great practice. And as always in the Inevitable You system, we work very, very hard on how we can teach these skills. So if you take a medium, and the reason why it's got to be medium, in a moment, we're going to make it a little bit more intense. So I say on a scale of 1 to 10, pick a 5, pick a 6, nothing bigger than that. I want it to be a conflict with one person. I said 6 or 7 there. I'll let you go up to 7. Conflict, and I want it to be a very specific, real memory. It is not imagined. It's not made up. It's not, hey, I always fight with this coworker, so I want this to be a very specific, meaningful exercise. Now, what happens is I ask you to take a deep breath, really clear things out, close your eyes, and, the command is see what you saw then. See what you saw then. Hear what you heard then. Hear what you heard then. Feel what you felt then. And the command is just as intensely as you did then. Just as intensely. See what you saw. Hear what you heard. Feel what you felt. Just as intensely as you did then. And I'll have people give a very slight nod when you're at your 6 or 7. Sometimes they're struggling. I'll say, see what you saw then. See their face. See their anger. See their conflict. Hear the hurtful words that they hear them pushing your button. Feel the distress. Feel it's pretty easy to get just as intensely as you did then. I'll then say, now we're going to do something with this memory. We're going to take conscious control of it. And the first phase of the exercise, I tell them, I want you to put it on a big IMAX theater screen. See it greater, bigger, more giant. There's their face. And you're using all the modalities. So you crispen up the color. See their shirt. It's orange or red or browner than it was because it's on this giant IMAX. Hear their voice, the bitterness in their voice, the hurt in their voice is greater. It's louder. It's almost that big THX, they do before a movie. The whole bass is vibrating the whole theater. They're telling you how dumb you are, what you thought is so stupid. And as a consequence of doing this a little bit on this big screen, you're going to see what you saw then, hear what you heard, feel more intensely than you did then. And I'll lock the memory in. And then I'll say, while remaining in this state, seeing more intensely, hearing more intensely, just for another second, put a number of 1 to 10 on it, and open your eyes, take a deep breath, shake your body out, and come back to me. Now, I'll ask people how many had the number go up. This is going to be the vast bulk. Let's say 80% will do that. How many of it the number didn't change, and that's a small number. And then actually there'll be some people that the number went down. Almost always I'll have someone in an audience, did it go down for you? They'll raise their hand. I'll say, okay, for now we're going to leave that just as it is. We'll come back to you guys. And now we're going to go back for the second part. It's a little bit shorter, a little more enjoyable. Go back even because you went in, it was more intense. It was an 8, it came back to a 7, it's not a 5 or 6. It doesn't matter. Go back, take a deep breath. Go back, and I repeat the process all over again. See what you saw, feel what you felt, hear what you heard just as intensely as you did then. Now, it might actually still have some remnants of more intensely, but I'm going to take them through the same process. Their shirt's not as bright, their voice is not as loud. It's as loud as it was then. Their shirt is just the same color as it was then. It's all to get you back to just as intense. Now, nod your head when you're there. They give me a little bit of nod. I go, now let's do something fun with this. Let's take it, instead of a big IMAX theater, I want to put it in this little black and white TV. And I kind of go through, and maybe I'm revealing my age here, but, everybody in my day, kind of had a little tiny kitchen TV. It only had its little 3 black and white channels. Is over in the corner. And now what the commands are, that see the person, they are just as angry, but now you can't hear them as well. You can't see them as well. And as a consequence, you're going to feel them less intensely than you did then. And I'll go through the same series of command. There they are. They're still riled up. There's their hurtful word. Wait, can't hear them. What are they saying? Oh, it just doesn't feel as intense. Then I do 2 other fun things with this. The first thing is I put Bugs Bunny's ears on them. I'll say, pick your favorite cartoon. Mine is Bugs Bunny. Put these big floppy ears on them. There they are. There they are. They're still mad. They're still angry. But, you have Bugs Bunny's on. Now hear their voice that way. Hey, you, what's up? I'm really mad at you. And people actually start to smile. And I said, look, it's kind of funny, but they're interrupting us. Now, an interesting little side note, as I've done this over the years, I have to put a very long extension cord on the TV. Because people would say, well, how does it go, out the door, down the driveway, and across the street, and I want you to set the TV up in your neighbor's front yard. And now come back and look at it from your front picture window. There they are. Yammering away. They are. Remember, they are just, but now what are we? Now here, what is, scale of 1 to 10, 100% of people it drops. I never, now that's not to say that will always happen. I've never had anybody come back and say, oh, it went up. It always goes down. People like to have fun with this. And here's the peculiar nature of all the positive work that we talk about, whether it's towards and away, whether it's inside out, whether it's matching versus mismatching. All of these positive programs, they leave permanent markers in programs. Meaning, if you ever come back to this specific argument, and you may have other arguments with this person. Some people pick their spouse. People pick somebody from their business. Some people pick, an argument they had with a clerk. Maybe you'll never see the clerk. But when you come back to the specific argument, it will always be the 1 or 2, not the 6 or 7 that you had in it. Then I'll go back and explain these people, because this is important to know why. 80% follow the norm because they follow the instructions. The 10%, they're kinda playing along, so they're kinda doing it. But the fact of the matter is, right, wrong, or indifferent, as they feel this, and they feel the anger go up, they don't want anger, so they don't they don't hear the voice more. They don't put it on the screen. They bring it back down to where it was. They just, hey, look, I know this is an exercise with you, but I have no desire to experience this anger. And 10%, these are your rebels. These are your defiant ones. You can tell them, to have joy, and they'll almost fight you. And I say almost because when you tell them to have joy down here, they will go create this as a nicer, easier memory. Big, point number one, because now what has happened is you have the ability to take any memory, and by the way, do you think you can do this in real time? And by the way, I'll tell you a little funny story after I did this with one of the clients. He taught it to his 16-year-old daughter, and that very night the mom got mad and was yelling at her about something, and she started laughing. And the dad and her kind of looked at each other and broke out laughing. Bugs Bunny, and they pointed at each other. Mom wasn't too happy at that moment because she didn't know. But you can do this in real time too. Any memory now has the emotion that you consciously control. You do it by controlling the modalities. See, feel, hear, and if you ever want to mess with the two more powerful, that's just kind of hard in this exercise, taste and smell. Oh my goodness. So for example, if you've ever done my Boston Marathon, I always put the crunchy cups in the aid station as you run through, the crunchy cups, or I'll say, taste the Gatorade of your choice. You can do anything in this experience in all 5 modalities, and it really, really becomes powerful. Now, the other easy, fast tool is the glass half full or half empty. The answer is it's always both. It's a trick question, I tell people. The real question is, who are you and that moment in time when you are looking at the glass? So the reason why this becomes a powerful tool under the disempowering beliefs, if you look at what's half full about them, because there's always a half full meaning, and now you can vary the emotion on the half full side, and you can lower the half empty emotions on that side of the equation. This is a double whammy. You have now completely rewired a negative belief. So in essence, the meanings and beliefs that you now have for this, you have complete control of this. No one else does. And so now, with these two tools under your belt, it allows you to rewrite everything about it. So, for example, let's go back and look at some of ours. It's too commercial. How you rewrite that is, for some it's too commercial. And I know that businesses have to make their money. Businesses run this mighty economy, and Christmas is the best time of year, so they have to push commercial. So I honor and value all the businesses because I want them to have a great holiday. And in turn, that's going to drive this great economy, which in turn is now going to, affect me. So you take something that's half empty, you turn it into half full, and again, you put it on the IMAX, you put it in big, you put these companies celebrating. You might have some friends that work in this company. You might have some money coming in because someone or you got a Christmas bonus. You can sit here and take a simple thing like too commercial and make it awesome. You can take too busy, make it awesome. You can take it expectations too high and make it awesome. And now on the positive side, we're going to take kids' joys and IMAX it and fireplaces and IMAXs and family and just max it out. And put your holiday music on, big bass, big volume. Feel your chair vibrate. Sing at the top of your lungs. You're going to rewrite this. And now you've come to the truth of the real holiday experience. The disconnect for most occur because there's this Norman Rockwell, Hollywood view, and they haven't figured out they don't have that yet, or you don't have that yet. Now, here's what's really interesting. Now, you guys should know. If you don't, this is just a reminder. Write us and tell us you want the paperclip tool. But this is paired with the lottery ticket. Ponder the fallacy, if you will, of winning the lottery ticket. Here's the question I'd like to ask you. What if you won the lottery but could only give it away? Meaning you couldn't keep any. Which do you think would make for a happier you? If you actually got to keep it or you got to give it away? Ponder that for a moment. Some of you mentioned it earlier. It's in giving the perfect gift. Somebody said it was hard. That's an easy one to rewrite, because not only does this gift make them a happier them, it makes you a happier you, because there's more joy in giving this. Which would make a more happy you if you could give it away? And who would you give it to? And strangers and worthy causes and friends and family. Like, how awesome. Or are you the time like, oh no, I'll keep it, then I can give who I want and blah, blah, blah. But the minute you make this is now a software choice, as is this. And let me tell you the gold wrapping paper story. These are the two stories I always like to finish with. I don't know if you've heard these before or not. It's a man who worked very hard to keep food on the table. And this particular year, he had to punish his little 5-year-old daughter after she had used up the family's only roll of expensive wrapping paper. As money was tight, he became even more upset on Christmas Eve. He saw she'd put all the expensive on just one shoebox. He also was concerned about where she got the money to buy what was in the shoebox. And the next morning, filled with excitement, she brought it to Dad and said, "This is for you, Daddy." And as he opened it, he was embarrassed by his earlier overreaction, now regretting that he had punished her. But when he opened the box, he found it was empty. And he was angry again. Don't you know, when you give someone a present, there's supposed to be something in the package? And the little girl looked up at him with sad eyes and said, "Tears, Daddy, it's not empty. I blew kisses in it until it was all full." The father was crushed. He fell on his knees. He begged. And a very short time later, that accident took his child, and he kept the little gold box. And whenever he was discouraged, he took out the box and loved the child and put it there. Here's the value of this in a very real sense. Each of us have been given an invisible box that has kisses from our children, our family, our friends, our spiritual center. Nowhere is a more precious possession than that. Maybe that might be a fun, meaningful, hot chocolate story to share with your family or your kids or whoever. The gift of the Magi is very famous. I won't go into all of that because I'm almost sure of you have heard the gift of the Magi. He and she walk to work every day, and he admires a beautiful watch fob because he had inherited his father's pocket watch. But he had nothing to show it off, so he admired this watch fob. Now, meanwhile, she had very long, gorgeous hair, and she brushed it out every day with an old broken comb because that's all they could afford. And she admired a beautiful comb on the same walk with him. So when came time to open the presents, what she had done is she'd cut off her beautiful hair to buy his watch fob. He had sold his watch to buy her the beautiful comb. That is love. That is true happy and joy. And, if you manifested this, if you chose this, if you empowered this with how you believe, are we really prisoner to these other old ghosty realities, beliefs, and certainties? What about your old software? Keep the positive and make it better, and discard the negative. Throw it out. What do you commit to this year? What do you think you can, in fact, create? But just sit and reflect and think about this and believe that this is now your new, powerful holidays.